Hi guys, this is Asholic and welcome to my first Diablo video. In this video I'm going to go through the permanent CC and damage buff build on my Witch Doctor, and this is a spec that I use when playing with my friends in a party of 3s and 4s in Greater Rifts, and I also believe this is the build that most of the top ranked Witch Doctors in 3-player and 4-player mode are currently using. If you're like me who enjoys playing Diablo with your friends as opposed to by yourself, and would also like to make good progress in Greater Rifts and potentially get on the leaderboard, then I think this is definitely a spec for you. So I hope you enjoy this video, and again, if you if you find that this video has been helpful to you and your friends progressing in Greater Rifts in any way, please share and like this video. It really motivates me to make more videos. So let me open up my skills first. The first one I have here is Mass Confusion. So the only reason why I chose this skill is because of the 20% additional damage buff coming from the Paranoia rune. So it's very nice, as well as the additional CC, which becomes handy from time to time. The second skill I have here is Fetish Army. At the moment I'm using Legion of Daggers simply because it gives the biggest number of increase in the Fetish. And the third skill here I have is Horrify. This is really the skill you're going to be using the most often. This is what allows this spec to be able to permanently CC the enemies around you. And for the rune, you pretty much want to go for the Face of Death, simply because it increases the CC radius up to 24 yards from the original 18 yards. The fourth skill I have here is Big Bad Voodoo. Use the Slam Dance because again it gives the biggest amount of damage buff. Spare Walk, this one is a no-brainer. I personally choose Jaunt because it simply trumps everything else in this category. The 3-second of damage immunity is an absolute must if you want to progress in higher levels and Greater Rifts. Piranhas, I choose Piranhados simply because it allows you to bunch up loose mobs, so it becomes easier for you to CC in a lot of situations. Also, the 15% damage buff is great too. It gives your whole party more damage. Now onto passives. The first one I have is Jungle Fortitude, because your role as this spec in a party is really like a sort of like a tanky CC sort of character. So you're going to be running into mobs a lot and trying to CC them. So which means you're going to be hit from time to time, and you definitely do not want to be one-shotted by the mobs later on, because when you die, your party dies very quickly. So the 15% damage buff on you and your pets is certainly a must. Spirit Vessel, this is your only lifeline as a Witch Doctor, so again, a lifesaver. You survive, your party survives. You die and your party dies, so this is a must as well. On top of that, it gives you a 2-second damage cooldown reduction on your Horrify, as well as your Spirit Walk, which makes it even better. Creeping Death, the only reason why I've picked this is because our Piranhas can benefit from the everlasting amplification. So it means that once you've cast the Piranhado on the mobs, the debuff is going to be on them for almost forever. So you don't have to worry about recasting Piranhas again later on the same mobs. And the fourth one I have here is Tribal Rites, simply because it reduces the cooldown of your Fetish Army and Big Bad Voodoo, which allows you to spam these two skills more frequently. So let me get onto my gear. So for this build to work, the key item you need is the helmet. That's the Techlandian Visage. And if you look at the legendary effect of this helmet, it makes your Horrify fear and root the enemies around you for 8 seconds. And this is what makes this build a permanent CC build. Because with enough cooldown reduction from your gear, you're going to be able to keep the enemy in constant fear before your Horrify comes off cooldown again. So right now I have 47.5% cooldown reduction. So this is, let's make it 50 for the ease of calculation. So that brings my Horrify down to 6-second cooldown. And you can see how, this becomes really powerful because, I'm going to be able to chain spam this skill like 24/7 and keep the mobs in permanent control. So this is the piece of gear you need to make this spec work. Now on top of that, if you can, then it's best to farm the Star Metal Kukri, simply because it allows you to pretty much infinitely cast, like spam your Big Bad Voodoo as well as your Fetish army, because each time, if you look at the legendary effect of Star Metal Kukri, each time one of your fetishes hit the enemy or deals damage, then reduces the cooldown of your Big Bad Voodoo and Fetish army by 1 second. And this is why I picked the Legion of Daggers, because there's going to be more of them hitting all the time, so it makes these two skills come off cooldown faster. And you'll see later on in the video that I'm pretty much able to constantly spam these two, like just dropping buffs everywhere around the map. So the third piece, I think, is probably the third most important piece for this build, is probably the necklace. Now this is a little bit tricky. I think this is meant to be quite rare. The reason why I use this necklace is because it makes you immune to all lightning damage. Now, when because you're gonna be permanently CCing the enemies, so you can pretty much avoid most types of damages, because when you fear the mobs, they're gonna be standing there, getting feared and rooted, and they're not gonna be able to cast anything. But the only type of damage which you might receive is from the I can't remember the affix now. It might be the electrify. Yeah, the electrify mobs. So they don't cast those electrify things. They proc based on they proc when the mobs receive damage from you. So this is something that's out of your control, and this is because you're going to be running into the packs, standing there, constantly spamming your fear to keep them in control. So you're going to be taking a lot of damage from those electrifies, whatever they're called. So this is why you need this necklace here, because it makes you immune to those unavoidable damages. On top of that, I have the Blackthorn chest, legs, and the boots. And the reason for this is because of the 4-set bonus at the end. Again, like I said, you're going to be running into mobs who are going to be casting these desecrators, molten and plague things on the ground. So you don't want to have to be worrying about them all the time. So you want to be able to just stand in them and do the shit you want to do. So the 4-set bonus is great. It makes a big difference. So if you can try and get these 3 pieces, they're relatively easy to get, I think. Blackthorn is quite common, at least for me anyway. For the belt, you want Vigilante because of the cooldown reduction. So But yeah, in general, you want to roll cooldown reduction on your gears. So for me, I've got a Vigilante belt on my with 8% cooldown reduction, so I can reroll something else into the Vitality for survivability. Now for shoulders, I'm using the Pauldrons of the Skeleton King simply because it basically gives you another sort of lifeline. You know, it's not guaranteed to proc. I think what I've read on some of the forum is that you know it's probably about 10% proc rate. But hey, you know, it's still, I'm sure it saved me many times. So this is the only reason why I picked this shoulder. Again, you can see I'm just re-rolling something into cooldown reduction. For your bracers, I'm using strong arm because of the legendary proc again. Um, uh, your tornado actually counts as a knockback effect. So if you cast that on the mobs, then it's going to give your party members an extra 25% damage buff for 5 seconds. So it's very nice. For gloves, I'm actually using the St. Archie's gauge simply because the legendary effect is just too great to pass on. I mean, my particular one is not that great. It's only 21%, but you can certainly roll up to 25% if you're lucky. You know, which is great. If you look at the total amount of HP I have, it's a significant absorption of the damage you'll get, and it's only on a 30-second internal cooldown as well, which is also very nice. For the rings, I'm using this guy here. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Pandemonium loop. I think you get this from the Act 5 cash farm. Again, this is not mandatory. I only get it simply because of the legendary effect. You know, when enemies die in fear, because you're going to be constantly spamming your Horrify, so the enemies will be in constant fear, and when they die, they'll die in a bloody explosion and cause nearby enemies to flee in fear as well, which, yeah, it's just more CC, you know, CC good. And the second ring, this is a must, I guess, if you want to go for the 4-set Blackthorn bonus. Get a royal ring, a ring of royal grandeur, simply because it reduces the set requirement by 1 to get the bonus. So for offhand, because we're not using well, I'm not using a dog, so I don't need the Eucapian Serpent for the 20 or for the 30% damage reduction. Instead, I've crafted this Wall of Man, which has a nice legendary proc as well. It basically gives you a bone shield which absorbs damage. I think, again, I've read it somewhere. It reduces about 20% of damage. And also so yeah, and then just reroll the secondary into reducing damage from ranged attack by 6%. For everything else, for the helmet, you wanna definitely get a socket for the helmet because you wanna get the 12%, 12.5% damage cooldown reduction, which is a key for this spec to work. And also for any other piece, you pretty much wanna focus on your cooldown reduction. Again, you can see here cooldown reduction I've got, and then cooldown reduction. I think I've got cooldown reduction again here, and cooldown reduction on this guy here. So overall, I've got about 47.51% cooldown reduction. This is including the Paragon as well. So this is pretty much it. That's the gear I have. So you don't have to do the exact setup as me in terms of gear selection. You know, you can definitely play around with some of the pieces, but definitely you want to get this guy, and this guy, so you can maximize the benefits of this build here. Um, Now I'm gonna very quickly show you how this build works in action. Oh, before I move on, let me just quickly take you through my Paragon points in case I forget later. Um, so for this build, you really want to just maximize on survivability, you know. So first of all, obviously max out your movement speed. I have already 12% movement speed on my boots, so that's why I only need 13% to make the 25. And now you want to pump all the rest of your points into vitality to get more HP. Offensive. So cooldown reduction is a must because you want to be constantly spamming the horrify, as well as being able to use all the other skills as often as possible. So cooldown reduction, definitely cap that at 10%. And after that, probably I would say it's the attack speed, because it makes your fetish army hit faster, and that translates into further cooldown reduction because they're going to be heading faster. So these two are going to come off to cooldown faster too. For defense, again, life, you know, pop all your points into life, you know, gives a nice 25% buff to your life. And after that, depending on how much armor or resisto you have, you know, just choose one of them and focus on it. Utility, you know, it doesn't make much of a difference. I'm not going to be hitting, you know, so I just pick life on hit for the sake of it. And area damage, yeah, so these things don't really matter for this spec, so you can do whatever you want. So I'm gonna go into a map and I'll show you how powerful this spec can be. So let's see which map is good, which map has loads of mobs. Let's see. Let's try this one. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So in a greater rev, you pretty much just wanna, you know, run to mobs. You know, so you serve the role of a tank, right? So let's just speed it up a bit. I'll hope we get some mobs very soon. Okay, no mobs. Okay, here's mobs. So what you wanna do is just, you know, pressure one here. You can see they're just, you know, kept in constant CC. Just move between them. If they're like kind of separate like this, and it becomes a bit hard for you to CC them all without having to move, then you can use this when your Peronado becomes handy. You cast it, you can bring them closer, then you just have to stand in the middle between them. So both of all the mobs are within range of your fear. You can see they're just, these two mobs just standing there permanently, getting CC'd, waiting to be killed by my companion. Right? So let's move on, ignore them. Let's try and find an elite pack somewhere. Okay. Okay, nothing interesting here. Let's keep moving. Another important thing to notice is that if you look, I'm just simply standing here. These guys are in permanent CC mode. And look how quickly my Horrify comes off cooldown. I'm able to cast it again before these guys come out of my fear, and this is how the permanent CC part works. And if I summon my Fetish army, you can see, because of the Star Metal Kukri, this skill pretty much comes off cooldown after like a few seconds. I can basically permanently spam these two buttons. You know, spamming like that, very easy. I can move around, you know, drop my Paranado again, bunch them up together, keep them in fear, and I drop a buff here. You know, if I've got allies here, then I drop a buff here. And then for if you want extra damage buff for your friends in the party, then you can also cast Confusion, which gives an extra 20% damage. That's very nice. So let's move on. Let's try and find a pack of elites.
Needs more time.
looks like we're not very lucky with our elites today.
Needs more time.
Let's keep going up to see if we can find anything. You can see here I'm just constantly spamming my horrify, and as I walk through them, they just get CC'd. I don't even need to worry about them at all. They're just getting CC'd.
Not ready yet.
Okay, not having any luck with the elites today.
Need more time.
Right, let's try a different map.
Needs more time. I need to go back.
I'm gonna open up a, Torment 6 Rift, just so you guys can see how it works. It could work in a Greater Rift. So there's Torment 6. I'm just gonna go in. Hopefully there's gonna be more elites in here. Again, start casting my Horrify. Oh, there's a nice champion mob here. See what I'm doing here? Just all you need to do is stand here. All you need to do is stand here. Now there's a second pack of champion mobs here, and then some of these guys are not being CC'd at the moment, but that's fine. This is where our tornado becomes handy. Bring them together, and then just keep spamming your Horrify. Look, they're just standing there doing absolutely nothing, waiting to be killed by your teammates. Again, keep spamming your skills, Tornado if you need for that extra little bit of damage, and then cast Confusion whenever it's off cooldown. This is all this is all really there is to it. You're just there, running into a pack of mobs, bringing them together, keep them in constant CC, and then just move around, buff your party, things like that. And I'm gonna move on. Let's see if we can find the second pack. As I walk through these guys, they just get CC'd. I don't even need to worry about it. Okay, bunch them up like that. Drop a buff for your party so they can start DPSing like crazy. Confuse for extra CC and damage buff. Drop your thing again, buffing here again. Bunch them up. Just spamming with your skills is a very easy and fun spec to play, and it helps a lot. See another champion pack here, just being constantly CC'd, not being able to do anything at all. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, there's a resplendent chest here. Not a problem. Let me drag them together, CC them. Okay. And I hope you guys, I hope you guys can see the beauty of this spec really in a party situation. And then, if you, like I said before, if you like this video, and if you think this video is going to help you in any way, please please like and share this video. And if you have any feedback, or any suggestions on how I can improve my playing style or my gear, then you're more than welcome to post your comments below this video. Again, any feedback on what you would like to see in the next video, you can also post your comment below, and I'll get back to you whenever I can as well. So thanks very much guys for watching. So hope to see you next time.